This is Duke University.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Daniel Egger. I taught a number of distance courses this year, data science, computational finance, data visualization. So I know most of you, at least remotely. Thank you so much, family, friends, supporters who've come here to celebrate our wonderful students and their accomplishments. Again, this year, our distance students are among our most outstanding students, honestly. And I'm very, very happy that I could be here to celebrate with them and with you. So I am here to introduce the czarina of this whole program, Tondra Murray, who is the Director of Online and Distance Education. And she will speak a few words. So welcome. Thank you.
So thank you, Professor Egger. Thanks very much. So good evening, graduates, family, friends, faculty, and staff. I'm very excited to stand before you today as we present academic hoods and diplomas to our 2018 Distributed Master of Engineering Management Program graduates. I think that's worthy of an applause, don't you? As mentioned previously, I'm the Director of Online and Distance Education for the Pratt School of Engineering. I can proudly say that I've worked with d-MEM since we launched the degree offering in 2009. So after working with more than 150 graduates from 10 countries, including 32 states in the US, facilitating 26 week-long residencies, welcoming 9 cohorts, and speaking at 7 graduation ceremonies. Actually, wait, let me adjust this. Now 8 graduation ceremonies. I can tell you without a doubt that this is one special group. I'm extremely proud of our graduates because I know how hard they've worked to reach this important milestone and this very moment. Graduate school can be demanding by itself, but the challenges are all the more intense when one adds family, work, and life commitments to the mix. I know that such an achievement requires resilience, dedication, and perseverance. So graduates, congratulations. You showed up and you showed out in the best possible way. You've coached each other through job transitions, challenging work assignments, and the overwhelm that comes from full-time work and study. I'm happy that you learned new things. I'm pleased that you enhanced skills that you can apply and have applied immediately in the workplace. I am, however, most sincerely delighted by the bonds that you've created with each other during the course of the program. It's no exaggeration on my part to say that working with d-MEM is one of the best parts of being at Duke. As everyone knows, you've been here all week for Residency 3. They really have been doing work. I don't know what you see on Facebook, but they've been doing work. You've spent a lot of quality time with me over the past 4 days. I'd be remiss, and frankly, you'd be disappointed if I didn't have some type of parting homework for you. So I'd like to take a few minutes to review 3 final assignments. This homework doesn't have a due date per se, and it can't be found on Sakai, but I'm hoping that it's something you can work on in the days ahead. So, assignment number 1, I want you to refine and review your personal mission statement. I want you to go back to the activity from the 7 Habits session, even if it's only a few times a year. I have actually put a reminder on my calendar to email you all on August the 8th, which is 90 days from now, to see how you're doing. Make beginning with the end in mind a priority. Reverse engineer your destiny. Define a vision for your preferred future. Think about how you can get there and savor every moment, bitter and sweet. Assignment number 2, seek feedback constantly and on purpose. When was the last time you asked for feedback? The term feedback was created in the 1860s during the Industrial Revolution to describe how outputs of energy return to their source in a mechanical system. That's a fun fact. Someone may ask you that one day. After World War II, the term was used in the context of people and performance. In essence, the model was about pushing something back to the source. If you actively seek feedback, you flip the script by pulling. If you can become a great receiver of information, you can better position yourself for growth independent of the source. Studies show that feedback-seeking behaviors can lead to greater creativity, higher job satisfaction, and faster adaptation in the workplace. Who doesn't want that? And finally, assignment 3, use your strengths. No, really, you know I was going to say use your strengths, right? I am the lover of all things strengths. I know that I've talked about it a lot this week, but I honestly challenge you to think about how you can do more of what you are organically good at work and home. Leverage your natural talents to add value wherever you go for more productivity, impact, and happiness. I am deeply, deeply grateful to be a part of your Duke experience, and I look forward to hearing about all of the incredible things that lie ahead for each of you. May you be both highly effective and successful. Congratulations. So I now have the pleasure of introducing our student speaker. Each year at the hooding ceremony, we select a graduate to share his or her thoughts about the d-MEM experience. At this time, I'm pleased to invite Michael Miles to the podium.
Thank you, Tondra. Welcome, family and friends. Thank you for joining us as we rejoin the real world, that thing we've heard so much about at our last commencement, faculty and staff. Thank you for being here to guide us over the last 2 years and for joining us today as we set off for the rest of our lives. And finally, fellow graduates, welcome and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak before you today. I'd first like to share a story from David Foster Wallace. There are these 2 young fish swimming along, and they happen to meet an older fish swimming the other way, who nods at them and says, "Morning, boys, how's the water?" And the 2 young fish swim on for a little bit, and then eventually one of them looks over at the other and goes, "What the hell is water?" 1, tell a joke. Check. If you are worried that I plan to present myself today as the wise old fish, explaining what water is to you younger fish, then don't be. I'm not here to teach you the meaning of reality, but to implore you to join me in defining it, in defining our reality. 2, state your thesis. Check. The general understanding of a graduate school would say that we came to Duke to gain knowledge that we do not have, to learn from those that came before us, to find out what has worked best in the past and to apply it to our future. But did we? I would contend that we came here to grow something that was already inside of us. To feed a want to learn, a need to improve, a desire to become effective leaders of people, and a drive to change our world. 3, turn an old understanding on its head. Check. In order to feed this need, you have traded your time, your most precious asset, for time spent with these professors, time spent with your peers, and time spent with one another. Time you could have spent with family or friends, at happy hour, hiking outside, browsing the internet for new watches, or out in your garage revving your hot rod. Stephen. I'm sure many of you have heard the saying before, there aren't enough hours in the day. And yet you have given up the only resource that you cannot regain to magnify your ability to affect change. All of you have given up that resource for the good of your work, your team, your life, your family. Many would say that they have given up that time for a piece of paper, or for what this can do for their career, or for future earning power. Got to make that money. But for what? To spend your days, weeks, months, years doing the same old thing? To chase paper? I would say that you have done more than that. You have invested your time not only in yourself, but in each of us, sitting here today with your willingness to share your experiences and thoughts, your ideas, fears, and dreams, so that we may all go on to do great things. You have a decision in how to think. We learned just this week that you must be proactive. You must search for that space between action and reaction and choose who you want to be, what you want to be, and how you want to be. You can either be a willow in the breeze or a stone in the storm. This program has shown us what it means to be a stone, to be the pillar on which good things are built. It has shown us how best to act, but it is up to us on how to continue. We are here today because we are dreamers, because we wish to achieve, because we wish to make a difference. I would ask that you be a pillar. I would ask that you continue to share your ideas for the betterment of those around you as you continue forward, ever upward. You do not have to change the world, but I demand that you change the world around you. 4, issue a lofty charge to instill inspiration. Check. I'd like to share a quote with you by Juan Mascaro. The thought manifests the word manifests the deed, and the deed develops into habit, and habit hardens into character. So watch the thought and its way with care, and let them spring forth from love, born out of compassion for all things. As the shadow follows the body, as we think, so we become. 5, share a thoughtful quote by someone that the audience has never heard of to look smart. Check. Through our time together, we have built a shared experience, a shared trial, a shared understanding. I would ask that you continue to share your time and your understanding with all of those who will listen, and especially those who will not. And 6, offer a plea to change the world. Check. Thank you. It's been a great 2 years, guys. Stacy has put together a presentation for us. Thank you.
Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where to go. So make the best of this task and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable, but in the end is right. I hope you had the time of your life. Hanging on a shelf in good health and good time.
All right, now's the time that you've all been waiting for. It's time to hood our graduates. Anytime that a slideshow is presented, I do have to remind the parents that it's not particularly photogenic to watch students studying. Okay, so they did actually study, although the pictures might not have suggested that. But, you know, taking a test is just not particularly engaging. So did want to mention that for anyone in the audience that might have wondered. Michael Jonathan Miles. And if you want to come up and take a picture, please feel free to do that. This is a fun event, right? This is a celebration, so don't feel like you have to stay in your seat. Allison Elizabeth Bergman. And applause is also welcome, absolutely. Stacy Ann Strickland. Luther Daniel Westfield II. Kenneth Stamper. That's why we let Jeff do the hoodie. He's the tallest among us. Ryan John Worster. Mason Robert Borlick. Brent Albert Koken. Michael King. Scott Carter Maddox. Jason S. Pepin. Eric Patrick Newman. Brett Andrew Heller. Nathan Michael Singer. Joseph Michael Fucci. Atif Muhammad Al-Yadin. Victoria Nguyen Plunky. Jonathan Marcos Lozano. Gregory Hahn. Paulo Alejandro Olis.
Yay,
They came all the way to see you.
I'm so glad you spoke up.
Matthew Allen Reichard. Stephen Levi Arno. Miller Glenn Bird. Paige Elizabeth Ramis. Animesh Marotra Hajela. Jonathan Matthew Solisto. Atul Modi. Craig Gerard Vincent. All right, let's have another round of applause for our graduates. All right, we're almost to the end, but I did want to share a couple of thoughts in closing. To our students, from CJ, you certainly learned that cash is king. And I'm certainly from your marketing class, you learned about promotions. And so you're probably thinking, what is this about a free gift? There is no such thing as a free lunch. What are the expectations of me? So the good news is we are not expecting you to pay any more tuition. You're done with that, right? You're completely done with that. But there are a few reasons that, that we do give you this gift, and we want to talk about it, because as educators, there's always a meaning in the things that we do. And so as as you look at the gift and think about the things we give you, I want to talk a little bit about the symbolism and what those things represent. And so the first thing that you'll, well, maybe not the first thing you notice, but the first thing I want to mention in the bag is there's a little bit of Duke MEM swag. So there's a lapel pin in there. And the reason why we give a lapel pin is you are now part of the MEM family. And so we want you to wear this lapel pin with pride. We are proud of you, and I hope that you are proud of us as an institution. So as I said, wear that with pride. But being part of a family also has responsibilities. Right? So when Dr. Murray calls you and asks you to come back as an alumni speaker, or she asks you to reach out to a prospective applicant that's thinking about the program, we'll hope you'll say yes. And like a good family, if you don't say yes immediately, there might be a little family guilt to kind of encourage you to make the right decision. Being part of the MEM program and wearing this pin also means that you are now part of Duke University. And so your reputation is our reputation. And so as you move forward, I want you to think about that and be honorable in all the things that you do. I want to see you on the nightly news for the right reasons. All right, the second thing in the gift basket is a picture of the MEM cohort. And I certainly think we saw it in the slideshow today, but coming to Duke and being part of this program is much more than simply the classes and what you learn in that setting. It's about your classmates, the peers that you went through this cohort with, the struggles that you faced, the challenges that you overcame. And so, you know, we give you this picture as a reminder of your peers. There are no more residencies for you to come to. However, we want you to stay in contact with this cohort. Dr. Murray is very intentional about the cohort experience and making sure that you bond, that you feel part of a community. So as you leave here from Duke, remember to remain a tight-knit group. Remain part of that community as you move forward. It is as equal part of your experience here as Duke as the academics were. And the last thing, there's a book. And so it's there to remind you to continue your education long after you leave Duke University. So your last assignment, maybe another assignment, I guess. I didn't give a due date. Apparently I'm not as good as Dr. Murray and having a scheduled due date. But we want you to continue learning, and so we have given you a book. This year, the book that was selected by the MEM faculty was Start With Why. And it's a particularly interesting book thinking about how to inspire others with a purpose. And so I think it's a very relevant book. This year, one of the companies they talk about quite a bit is Apple. And so at our main graduation this year, we have Tim Cook from Apple. And so I think it's particularly relevant, not only because it was recommended by our faculty, but also given the context of our graduation speaker this year, because certainly Apple is a company that starts with why. So we certainly hope you enjoy these gifts and that they remind you of your time here with us. It has certainly been a pleasure having you in the MEM program. We wish you the best in the years to come, and we hope that you will stay in touch. Thank you very much. All right, I have a couple of logistical things in closing. So for those of you that are staying beyond this ceremony this weekend, there are a couple of events we wanted to make sure that you're aware of. From 8 to 11 on Saturday night, there's a Forever Duke commencement party. So I've never been, but I understand it's a good time. So if you're around, I would consider that. It's in the small circuit parking lot on Saturday night. Keep you up late for that early morning graduation to remind you of your days here. And lastly, the main graduation ceremony is in Wallace Wade Stadium. The procession of candidates begins at 9 a.m. And so if you are interested in participating in that, wanted to make sure you're aware of that. And so at this time, that concludes our ceremony, and ask you that you join us in the pre-function area for a reception.
Produced by Duke University. Online at duke.edu.